Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is True Crime Tuesday yet again, and today we will be talking about Lady South Korea's pretty-faced psychopath. Not much is known about Lady personal life. However, she was born in 1976 and is the middle child. She had an older brother and a younger brother, and they were all raised in a well-off family. Their parents had a few properties and apartments, and money was never an issue because they had a lot of it. However, not having financial problems eventually led up to a bigger problem for Lady afterwards. Now, no names were ever released, so we don't know the names of the people involved. There are also no photos, and Lady identity was never revealed to the public. But she was said to be very, very pretty. She was also tall and slim and looked like an actress. And that's why she's often referred to as the pretty faced psychopath. But anyway, in her early 20s, Lady got married to her first husband, who we will be referring to as A. And they had a daughter together. They were married for a few years from the late 90s to the early 2000s. And somewhere along the way, their daughter actually passed away as a toddler. Again, not much is known about this. However, it was deemed as an accident, and some articles say that the child died after falling off the playground and hitting her head on concrete. Although some reports say that it was never confirmed where she had fallen off of, but it was most likely in the playground or the stairs. Now, after her daughter's death, Lady was devastated. However, instead of finding peace and relief that she still had her husband with her, she actually started to resent him. She didn't want him anymore and wanted out of the marriage, basically. However, she wasn't going to divorce him just like that. So she devised a plan to make everything worth her while. A few months after her daughter's death, Lady drugged A with sleeping pills, knocking him out completely. And as he was in deep sleep, she decided to poke his eyes with a safety pin. A woke up to excruciating pain, and when he was brought to the hospital, he was told that he was going to completely lose his vision. And upon being asked what might have happened, Lady simply said that she had no idea what happened to her husband because she was fast asleep as well. Now, after this, she still did not divorce him. He was now completely blind and was still trying to adjust to his surroundings. In all honesty, A felt very lucky because his wife was there for him and took such good care of him. Until about a year later, when Lady accidentally poured scorching hot oil on A's face. He received severe burns but survived. Again, Lady got away with this, posing as a doting wife, and no one ever suspected her. A few months after this, A was brought back to the hospital, this time with a stab wound from a kitchen knife. Again, he survived, but strangely, Lady got away with this again, telling medical staff that A was harming himself due to the depression brought on by suddenly going blind. And they all believed her. I mean, they had no reason not to. The doctors, her family, his family, and friends all believed in her lies. I mean, it wasn't impossible. It could be true that he was practicing self-harm because he wasn't happy with his life anymore. And just a few months after this incident, A was brought to the hospital for the last time. He received another stab wound, but this time he did not survive his injuries. He passed away due to organ failure as the stab wounds punctured one of his vital organs. His death was deemed as a suicide due to Lady prior claims of him having depression and suicidal thoughts. After this, she was given $200,000 from his insurance policy. And what did she do? She spent this money. All of it. Lady went on shopping sprees, she ate at bougie places, and parted her way through the pain that she felt after A died. However, just a few months later, she then meets a new guy who we will be referring to as B. They met at a club and hit it off right away. And not long after they started dating, Lady falls pregnant, giving her a second chance at motherhood. However, before this baby was even born, tragedy struck. Because again, Lady did not want to be with B anymore. Just 9 months into their relationship, Lady did the same thing. She drugged B with sleeping pills and poked his eyes with a safety pin. And after blinding him, she took him to many trips to the hospital for random injuries and sicknesses that had no explanation. Now, worried, B's family tried to reach out to the hospital themselves because at this point it seemed like Lady was just overwhelmed with what was happening to her partner and couldn't really provide B's family and friends with enough information for them to fully comprehend what was going on with B's health. And during one of his stays in the hospital, medical staff reassured B's family that his health has improved and he was on his way to recovery, and that he would be just fine. However, not long after this, B suddenly passed away, and this was very unexpected. And all that Lady told his family was that his condition had worsened and that his health had completely declined. Now, strangely, B's family just accepted her reasoning and even tried to console her, telling Lady that she could just have her pregnancy terminated because it would be difficult for her to raise the baby alone. However, Lady said she didn't want her child to be aborted because this way a part of B will always be with her. Now, of course, his family found this very sweet and appreciated the gesture. So they decided to give her the rights to the insurance money. A few weeks after this, she gave birth to a baby boy. However, upon claiming the said money, B's family found out that it was really going to be given to Lady anyway, without their consent, because before B passed away, Lady had actually registered their marriage while he was still in hospital. Now, the family did not file for any legal charges because they initially thought that B knew about this even though he was hospitalized at the time. They thought that it was possible that Lady and B had plans to get married after his recovery. But of course, this was Lady and by now we all know that she loves money. However, they had no clue about that. During this time, B's family also discovered that Lady had lied to all of them. She told B and his family that she was a college graduate and that she had worked as a teacher before meeting him. She also claimed that she was going to receive a $1 million inheritance from her mother. But none of this was true. However, the family couldn't do anything about this because as B's wife, she had the legal rights to his insurance policy. Right after claiming the money, she cut off all ties with B's family and decided to move in with her own family. She and her son stayed in the apartment where her mother and two brothers lived. And everything was going smoothly at first, until Lady ran out of cash again. In a matter of a few months, she was able to spend all the money that she got out of B's death. And this is when she did the same thing for the third time. She drugged her mother and younger brother with sleeping pills and blinded them both with safety pins. And when they were in the hospital, she had actually tried to inject poison into her brother's IV in an attempt to kill him, but failed. Now, after they got released from the hospital, Lady was able to convince her family to sell some of their apartments, saying that no one was going to take care of the family business now that they were all blind. And she couldn't do that either because she would be busy taking care of them and her son. So the family agreed and they were able to sell their properties with no problems. However, Lady never gave them their cut of the sales. She tried to reason with them by saying that she was going to manage their finances from now on because she was the one taking care of them. But as I have mentioned at the beginning of the video, she had two brothers. Her older brother could still see. She didn't blind him, so he kept on asking her for his cut. And this just infuriated Lady Tired of making excuses, she executes her backup plan. She lit their apartment on fire in an attempt to kill her whole family. Her mother and two brothers received severe burns in different parts of their bodies but ultimately survived. Lady and her son, however, were able to get out of the fire unscathed. And as her family was finally getting suspicious, she removed herself from the scene and moved out. She then went to her old babysitter and told her that she had nowhere to go. Lady gave her the best sob story, saying that she had lost two husbands and a child in the past, and now her family doesn't want her around, and they blamed her for bringing bad luck to them. Now, this was her old babysitter. This old woman knew Lady since she was a child and treated her as her own. So she, of course, said, yes, you and your son can move in. However, I can only house you for a month. And Lady said, yes, thank you. I'll stay here for a month and get my life together. She tells this woman that after she figures things out, she'll get out of her hair. Now, they never had problems during her 1 month stay with her old babysitter. In fact, they were extremely happy because they were like family. However, on the day that Lady was supposed to move out, the babysitter's apartment caught on fire, resulting to her husband passing away. Of course, it was Lady who did this, but why? She knew that she wasn't going to get any financial gain out of this. I mean, they were like family, but they're not actually related. So even if he killed someone from that apartment, she wouldn't get anything out of it. It seems like she did this either because she just wanted to or because she was upset that they were asking her to leave after a month of letting her stay in their home. Now, after this, I have no idea where she went or how she got by, but she and her son had a pretty rough time. They had nowhere to go, plus her son sadly got diagnosed with Kawasaki disease. Now, based on my research, Kawasaki disease is usually seen in children 5 years old or younger. And this causes a swelling or inflammation in the walls of blood vessels that carry blood all throughout the body. This leads in the inflammation of coronary arteries that supply oxygen-rich blood to the heart. Aside from this, it also causes swelling in the lymph nodes and mucous membranes in the eyes, mouth, nose, and throat. So Lady son was having a really hard time at that very young age. He was battling this disease and had no proper home nor food. And Lady loved her son very much. She was desperate to keep him healthy and alive. Now, because of this diagnosis, Lady son would often get hospitalized and Lady ran out of money completely. She did not know how to pay for the hospital bills and the medication. So she befriends a woman that she met at the hospital. Now, I'm not sure if this woman was also a patient or was working there or was just visiting someone, but they did meet in that hospital. And she eventually gained her trust and stole her credit card and used this to pay for her son's hospital bills and some extra things that she wanted for herself. But of course, this woman ended up reporting her credit card as stolen and Lady was caught. She again comes up with a sob story, but before she could even be charged with anything, her son sadly passed away in the hospital. Stricken with grief and anger, Lady does not think twice and sets the hospital on fire. I am not sure how big of a fire this was, but she did get caught on CCTV footage as the person responsible for starting this. Lady was arrested, and upon questioning, she told the police officers how she had lost 2 husbands and 2 children already. The bad luck that happened to her family and her babysitter. And at first they thought that maybe this was Munchausen by proxy. However, upon speaking to the people in her life, the authorities realized that she does not inflict injuries to be able to take care of people. She does this so she could claim their insurance money. Numerous tests and evaluations were conducted on Lady and she was officially diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And she also tested 40 out of 40 points on the Psychopath test. And she is the only female in South Korea to ever get a perfect score on this. Her family, as well as B's family and the babysitter, all testified against her in court. Lady tried to plead not guilty due to insanity. However, this was dismissed by the judge. According to them, she had no remorse at all, and that she tried to blame everything on her children's deaths. Now, I'm not sure about what charges were given to her and how long she will be in prison for, but given everything that she has done, she'll probably stay in prison for a very, very long time, or even for the rest of her life. Now, I know this was a pretty confusing one, so let's do a short recap of Lady crimes. She blinded and killed both of her husbands, blinded her mother and younger brother, attempted to poison her younger brother, set her family home on fire in an attempt to kill her mother and 2 brothers, set her babysitter's house on fire resulting to the babysitter's husband dying, stole someone's credit card, and set the hospital on fire. So in the end, she blinded 4 people in total, killed 3, stole thousands of dollars, burned down 2 apartments and a hospital. She also claimed and spent $600,000 of insurance money. Now, obviously, this woman is very, very dangerous and needs to be kept in prison for a very long time. I really can't find anything regarding how long of a sentence was given to her. I just know that she was put in prison for her crimes and that the court did not accept her insanity plea. But that is all that I have for you guys for today's video. As usual, I would love to hear your thoughts on this case. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on my next video.